Tonight, several breaking stories as we come on the air. The deadly tornadoes ripping through multiple states and the threat of more severe weather lasting for days. An explosion rocks a fertility clinic in Palm Springs, California, and the urgent manhunt for inmates after a jail escape. First, those devastating storms across the Midwest and South. Dozens of tornadoes reported across 5 states. More than 20 people killed. Thousands of homes impacted, giant trees blocking streets. Chicago under a dust storm warning for the very first time. And the same areas could face more severe storms with the threat lasting for several days. Our weather team tracking it all. Breaking news from Palm Springs, a large explosion outside a fertility clinic. The blast felt throughout the city. Multiple injuries. Police say it appears to have been an intentional act of violence. And what we're learning about a suspect. The manhunt intensifies after that daring jailbreak in New Orleans. New video tonight showing the 10 inmates running free, escaping through a hole in the wall. Some of them still on the loose. A multi-agency search underway. 3 jail workers suspended as authorities investigate the possibility of an inside job. Israel launches a new offensive. Hundreds killed as Gaza suffers through mass hunger. Food and supplies cut off for 10 weeks. On the eve of Pope Leo's installation mass, the new peace initiative offering the Vatican as a venue for talks on ending the Russia-Ukraine war. And what we could hear tomorrow from the first American-born Pope. Also tonight, under arrest. Police say they've broken up an international crime ring, saying alleged thieves posed as Amazon delivery workers. A major development in the fight against Alzheimer's. The FDA has cleared the first blood test that can help diagnose the disease. And America Strong tonight, the graduate and her dog. Why both received special honors at the commencement ceremony.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday. I'm Whit Johnson. Multiple breaking stories as we come on the air, including an explosion at a fertility clinic in Palm Springs, California. Police saying it appears to be an intentional act of violence. But we do begin tonight with those deadly storms and tornadoes sweeping across the Midwest and South. More than 24 people killed. Drone footage captured the widespread damage and devastation in London, Kentucky. Homes and businesses flattened. Lightning flashing across the night sky. Tens of thousands without power tonight. Kentucky's governor declaring a state of emergency. And those deadly twisters also targeting Missouri. The mayor saying that 5,000 buildings were damaged or destroyed. Dozens of tornadoes reported across 5 states, and the new threat, parts of the Northeast and New England under a severe thunderstorm watch. ABC's Alex Stone leads us off from London, Kentucky.
Across Kentucky tonight, an urgent search for victims of the overnight tornadoes. Entire neighborhoods in rural Laurel County wiped away. Homes left exposed. Wood planks scattered on streets. Residents helping first responders go door to door to search for victims. Kendra Foster, now injured with a broken foot, huddled in her basement with young children, telling me she thought she was about to die as a storm ripped apart her home.
It was like a bomb went off of the windows, everything just shattered.
Down the street, 78-year-old Lonnie Nance and his wife jumped out of bed and took shelter with his family in their hallway.
So you were huddling in this hallway and the roof was coming off. It was all disappearing.
The roof was a rumbling noise. I heard it, and I looked up and it was going up and leaving here, you know.
Across several states, at least 27 storm victims are dead. At least 18 in Kentucky alone, where a state of emergency has been declared. Severe weather impacts stretch from Texas to New Jersey. Reported tornadoes spanning across 5 states. In Indiana, this post office destroyed in the town of Clear Creek. Neighbors say it was a center of town where they gathered to see each other and swap stories. Now gone.
We got all of the box mail out. Because we have to secure the mail.
Is it emotional to see it like this now?
Yes, I've already cried.
Already, cleanup is beginning in Clear Creek. Elsewhere, in Missouri, this deadly tornado reported in Scott County. At least 2 people killed there. And at least 5 people are dead in St. Louis. Crews working throughout the day to clear down trees. Hundreds of thousands still without power across several states. The powerful storms also triggering a rare dust storm, something not seen here since the 1930s Dust Bowl. Strong winds making visibility near zero, blocking out the sun.
With these tornadoes came through in the middle of the night, ripping these homes off of their foundations. We just learned this home came from across the street about 100 yards. People survived in their bathtubs and basements. Whit?
Just an awful sight behind you. Alex Stone, thank you. Let's get right to meteorologist Danny Beckstrom from our New York station WABC. And Danny, this weather threat could last for days.
Several more days, several more rounds of the severe weather threat that continues into the start of the work week, Whit. Now, the system that produced the severe outbreak we just saw still bringing strong storms tonight from upstate New York into northern New England as a new threat unfolds in the central U.S. We have severe thunderstorm watches tonight for parts of New York, Vermont, and New Hampshire through sunset with damaging wind and large hail possible. But this new system triggers several days of severe weather from the Great Plains to the Heartland starting tonight with numerous severe storms possible in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Sunday's storm target Texas to Nebraska with damaging wind, large hail, and strong tornadoes possible. On Monday, this risk shifts slightly to the east, putting cities like St. Louis back in the bullseye. Whit?
All right, we'll be tracking it into next week. Danny, thank you. Now to the breaking news in Palm Springs, California. At least one person is dead and 5 others injured after a massive explosion near a fertility clinic. Police saying this appears to be an intentional act of violence. The FBI and ATF also responding tonight. Here's ABC's Christiane Cordero with late details just coming in.
Tonight, federal investigators are on the scene of a massive blast outside of a fertility clinic in Palm Springs, California. A vehicle exploding in a parking lot near the clinic.
It looks like this is going to be multiple buildings. With damage, blast. Got active fire from one vehicle in a parking lot.
At least one person who was believed to be the suspect was killed, 5 others hurt. Firefighters racing to put out the fire and search for victims.
We do have a medical aid for a victim from the explosion.
Police quickly cordoning off the area. Several nearby businesses badly damaged. Windows shattered on this liquor store across the street.
Look at this liquor store. Oh my God.
The glass windows of a nearby Denny's blown out. Debris scattered across the typically busy Indian Canyon Drive. The FBI and ATF now helping in the search for other explosive devices. Witnesses say the blast could be heard throughout the city.
We heard this loud noise. I shook all of our building. Our patients were scared. We actually thought something had hit our building.
With the FBI is investigating whether this is intentional. The fertility clinic tonight offering condolences to the families affected, adding, quote, our lab, including all eggs, embryos, and reproductive materials, remains fully secure and undamaged. Whit?
Christiane Cordero, thank you. Now to the urgent manhunt after a brazen jailbreak in New Orleans. Stunning surveillance video capturing inmates opening a cell door and then running away. Some recaptured, but 7 inmates still on the loose tonight. 3 jail employees have now been suspended, and authorities raising the possibility of an inside job. Here's ABC's Faith Abubey.
Tonight, 7 fugitives considered armed and dangerous are on the run after a daring jailbreak in New Orleans. Dramatic surveillance video showing the moment of their escape from the Orleans Parish Jail early Friday morning. Stunning images showing a hole carved in a wall behind a toilet. A taunting message left behind. Too easy, LOL.
All of this have been removed and these have been clean cut.
An urgent multi-agency manhunt joined by hundreds of local, state, and federal law enforcement officials now in its 2nd day. 3 of the escaped inmates have since been recaptured, but among those still at large, a man convicted of 2nd-degree murder. Authorities are appealing to the public for help in apprehending the others.
Please, we need the public's help. It's your city, it's your state. We want it safe for your family, your friends.
The fugitives are benefiting from a significant head start. According to authorities, the technician meant to be watching the area had taken a break to get food at the time of the escape. It wasn't until the following morning's head count, more than 7 hours later, that prison officials realized the inmates were missing. New Orleans Sheriff Susan Hudson said crumbling infrastructure and staff shortages contributed to the security breach and even suggested that it could have been an inside job.
We know that they had help. We're showing you they had help. This was coordinated.
The district attorney, meanwhile, blasting those responsible for what he called a disaster of epic proportions.
It's an absolutely unmitigated catastrophe. It's absolutely a breakdown.
And with 3 jail employees have now been suspended pending the outcome of an internal investigation. Whit.
Faith Abubey, thank you. Overseas now to Israel, launching a deadly new offensive in Gaza. Israeli officials say they are pressuring Hamas to release the remaining hostages, and it follows days of deadly strikes across the region, killing hundreds of people. We want to warn you, these images are disturbing. Here's ABC's Lama Hassan.
The first images of Israel's major new offensive called Operation Gideon's Chariots. Israel unleashing its deadliest strikes on Gaza, killing at least 300 Palestinians since Thursday. Pounding areas across the entire strip, civilians bearing the brunt of the bombings. Many of the injured quickly rush to the hospital any way they can. This boy brought in on the back of a flatbed truck. A young girl lying on a stretcher, an IV in her arm. This woman crying over a body. For those in Gaza, the renewed attacks come after 10 weeks of no food and crucial aid. Aid organizations sounding the alarm about an imminent famine. ABC's Dia Ostaz reporting from inside Gaza.
Hour by hour, it's getting worse. The people are being killed and the homes are being bombed, and literally there is no safe place.
With more reinforcements on the way, the IDF says it's designed to seize strategic areas of Gaza, attack Hamas and force them to release the remaining 57 Israeli hostages. With Israel and Hamas are now holding a new round of talks in Qatar to try to end the fighting. All the while, this punishing siege on Gaza continues. No food, no water, no humanitarian aid is entering the strip.
Lama Hassan, our thanks to you tonight. Now to the installation mass for the first American pontiff just hours away. Pope Leo XIV offering the Vatican as a location for peace talks between Russia and Ukraine. This as President Trump says he plans to speak with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Monday. ABC's Maggie Rulli joins us from the Vatican. And Maggie, what more are you learning about this tonight?
Hey, Whit. Yeah, just today, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that the Vatican could be a venue to host Russia-Ukraine peace talks, acknowledging that it's a, quote, place both sides would be comfortable going. Now, there's a long-standing offer from the Holy See to host these talks, and the Vatican has a tradition of being neutral when it comes to diplomacy. Most recently, we saw at Pope Francis's funeral that now iconic photo of President Trump meeting with President Zelensky of Ukraine. And Whit, it seems that Pope Leo XIV is taking an even more proactive role in global affairs. And tomorrow, all eyes are going to be right here on the Vatican. We're expecting around 150 delegations from around the world to be right here in St. Peter's Square for the installation mass of Pope Leo. That's the official start to his papacy. And among them will be President Zelensky, as well as Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary Rubio. Now, remember, Vance was here just about a month ago to meet with Pope Francis, one of the last people to see Pope Francis alive. But at this point, it's unclear if Pope Leo will be meeting with Vance or Rubio tomorrow.
We'll be watching. Maggie, thank you. And ABC News Live will carry special coverage of Pope Leo XIV's installation at the Vatican. That's tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. Eastern. You can stream it on Hulu, Disney Plus, and other streaming apps. Next tonight, the showdown between President Trump and the Supreme Court, the nation's highest court temporarily blocking the president from using the centuries-old Alien Enemies Act for deportations. ABC's senior White House correspondent Selena Wang in Washington tonight.
Tonight, the escalating battle between the president and the high court, the Supreme Court extending its order temporarily blocking the Trump administration from deporting Venezuelan migrants using the Alien Enemies Act, a centuries-old wartime law that provides its targets with little or no due process. The 7-2 majority saying the government did not provide the migrants enough time or information to contest their removal. The justices writing, notice roughly 24 hours before removal, devoid of information about how to exercise due process right to contest that removal, surely does not pass muster.
The Supreme Court has said that the government cannot shuffle people out of the country behind closed doors without any real notice.
The Supreme Court sending the case back to an appeals court to decide whether the president's use of the sweeping wartime authority is legal. Trump lashing out on social media saying the result of this decision will let more criminals pour into our country. The Supreme Court is not allowing me to do what I was elected to do. Trump first invoked the law in March, justified by a so-called invasion by the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, a designated foreign terrorist organization, sending more than 200 Venezuelan migrants accused of being gang members to a notorious prison in El Salvador.
And the president is facing another major setback with hardline Republicans in Congress blocking the president's budget bill from advancing, pushing for even steeper spending cuts. They're now negotiating through this weekend to try and get this bill back on track. President Trump is urging his party to unite, telling them to stop talking and get it done. Whit.
Selena Wang at the White House tonight. Thank you. Now to the arrests of 5 alleged fake delivery drivers, the dramatic arrests in broad daylight captured on camera, and the possible ties to an international burglary crew. Here's ABC's Ashin Singh.
This is the moment California police arrested 5 suspects they say are part of a transnational organized burglary ring linked to a string of home invasions across Southern California.
Connected to a transnational organized burglary group that has been targeting communities across our region.
Police saying this ring security camera shows the group in action. Video shows people dressed as delivery and Amazon drivers, one of them carrying a package entering a home through the front door midday on Easter Sunday.
Everything was on the floor, literally everything. Jewelry, gone, handbags, cash, collectibles.
Police say the suspects, who they say fled before they arrived, may have been targeting that Irvine family. Tonight, officers saying they caught up with the group after stopping a suspicious vehicle near the scene of a burglary, adding the driver claimed to be delivering food, but couldn't say where. Detectives soon identified him as 24-year-old John Osorio Arias. That traffic stop leading to a months-long investigation and the arrest of 4 others nearby.
And with those home burglaries have actually been down in recent years, but authorities are warning residents to stay vigilant, especially when it comes to answering the door for those unexpected packages. Whit.
Important information. Ashin Singh, thank you. There's much more ahead on World News Tonight this Saturday. The first blood test that could help diagnose Alzheimer's disease. And Knicks fans celebrating in the streets, climbing light poles after a win 25 years in the making. Could we see another big celebration tomorrow? Next tonight, the FDA has cleared the first blood test that could help diagnose Alzheimer's disease for those 55 and older with symptoms. The test measures 2 proteins that are linked to amyloid plaques in the brain, which are among the hallmarks of Alzheimer's. The CDC estimates 6.7 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's, a brain disorder that affects thinking skills. When we come back, 2 of basketball's rising stars renew their rivalry. If you love basketball, this is your time of year. In the WNBA, Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever beat the Chicago Sky and rival Angel Reese. Earlier, the New York Liberty opened their season with a win over Las Vegas. And in the NBA, wild celebrations in New York City overnight after the Knicks eliminated the Boston Celtics to make the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years. People taking to the streets, some fans even climbing up light poles. In the West, Oklahoma City meets Denver tomorrow in Game 7. That's at 3:30 Eastern, right here on ABC. And still ahead, graduation ×2 and a big surprise. America Strong tonight, the graduation walk shared with a best friend. A special graduation at Rollins College. Honors chemistry student Cecilia Hernandez on stage with her service dog Canella, about to pick up her diploma when she received a big surprise.
In addition to presenting Cecilia with her diploma, we also wish to recognize the service companion who has accompanied her throughout her Rollins career, Canella. I'm very pleased to present this service badge to Canella in recognition of her contributions to Cecilia's success at Rollins.
A milestone Cecilia did not think would happen 4 years ago due to mounting health issues related to her heart and immune system.
I overcame so much already just to get through high school. How am I going to make it through college?
But with help from her 4-legged friend, her dream became a reality. Canella went through 6 months of special safety training to be with Cecilia in the chemistry lab, even outfitted with safety goggles, booties, and a protective vest.
Once I had her by my side, I was able to actually envision myself getting to graduation.
Cecilia now pursuing a PhD in organic chemistry, with Canella right there by her side. Quite the duo. Thanks so much for watching tonight. Have a great night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir America's most watched newscast.